So even though President Trump is not on the ballot this year, by a show of fingers, who thinks that in some way he or his job performance will affect who you vote for in these other races? Sarah, anybody else? Everyone but Mackenzie, four of you. Okay, so let me see if I can drill down on this and see where you guys are by process of elimination. So, of the four of you who say that he will affect you, who will deliberately vote for Republicans in support of President Trump? Any of you? None of you. Okay. Who will deliberately vote against Republicans in protest of President Trump? Anybody? So none of the four of you fit in that category. All right. So help me understand how President Trump is going to affect your vote if you're not voting for Republicans in support of him or for Democrats in opposition to him. Jamie, why don't you go first? How's Trump going to affect who you vote for?
It'll go on a case-by-case basis, and I guess he would kind of be like the tiebreaker if I was undecided between who I was going to vote for, and I'd go with the Democrat then.
Okay, so he might influence how you vote in terms of voting against a Republican.
Yeah, he might, but it wouldn't be it wouldn't be automatic.
Okay, so you're not like knee-jerk going in and voting for all Democrats because you're pissed at the president.
Right.
Okay, got it. Okay. So I want to hear each of your stories. Jennifer, tell me how Trump is affecting your vote this fall.
We haven't accomplished much, and we're definitely not in the best economic shape for day-to-day activity. Um, what I usually look at is who's donated to whose ever campaign, since it's public knowledge. And obviously, if we're a heavily supported candidate, that's concerning. It means you're pretty well bought. You're going to have donations and things like that, but like what entities are actually donating to your campaign?
Okay, but how is Trump affecting your vote this November?
Because if those are realistically, if they're what, like, is it Project 2025 or something like that or whatever? If that's in support and those are organizations that are in support of that, that's very much a Trump policy, and it's not something that seems to benefit America.
Okay, hold on a second.
And so your agenda is going to push that through just the same.
All right. But hold on a second. You have a set without talking about the specific candidates. I don't want to get to that yet. You have candidates X and candidates Y in a Senate race in Iowa. You've got Senate. How is President Trump affecting who you're going to vote for in that Iowa Senate race?
Realistically, if he is stumping for any candidate, that would concern me of why.
Okay, so if
and there have been races where he has, and typically those people have lost.
Okay, but in terms of, I'm asking only about your vote. Okay, so just be clear. If he goes out in the stump and he comes to Iowa and he's supporting the Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate in Iowa, that's going to affect your vote?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you're going to vote against the Republican or for the Republican?
I would closely examine, but I would more than likely vote against them.
Got it. Okay. Tyler, take me through this. How is Trump going to affect your vote in November?
Yeah, I mean, I would I can count on one hand the number of Democrats that I voted for. I would consider voting for someone in the Democratic Senate race, probably more because of how of what I've observed from the first 2 years of Trump's presidency than I would in the past. So.
Okay. Sarah, tell me how Trump affects the way you're going to vote in November.
So ultimately, I'm going to look at what they've supported as far as like what have they voted yes on, and do I feel like they have my best interest at heart? And because a lot of the stuff that Trump has backed and has pushed for, if they're voting yes for a lot of that, I'm likely not going to vote with them. And that goes with the Democrat as well, because we've had Democrats cross party lines as well. I'm going to look at their voting record, especially if I like one or the other, they're both going to get looked at.
Okay, got it. But none of you describe this as automatically voting against Republicans in protest of President Trump. You're all sort of talking about how you're weighing how they voted and what they stand for. Does Trump campaign with them? So, am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, got it. All right.
I mean, I took it as, just to make sure we're on the same page. When you say I'm going to flat out not vote for them because they're a Republican and they support Trump, I don't think that's a fair assessment. Because not all Republicans support Trump and not all Democrats hate him. So I think you have to look at it a little bit more other than just going in blind, which I think is why a lot of us are not strictly Republicans or strictly Democrats.
Got it. Okay, thank you. All right. So Cindy's going to put on screen the first of many photos we're going to discuss for the rest of the time together. Please do not say anything when this person's photo comes on screen. Okay? By a show of fingers, and again without saying anything, who could identify this woman by name? Three of you. Sarah, who is it?
Isn't that Ashley Hintzig or whatever her last name is?
You're close. There you go. Jamie, who is it?
Ashley Hinson.
There we go.
Okay. So Mackenzie, you're going to say that also?
Yes, Ashley Hinson.
Okay. Tyler, Jennifer, does her name sound familiar?
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. She looks familiar, but I just didn't know her name.
That's all right.
100%.
Tyler, how about you? Are
Yeah,
you familiar?
might have heard it, but I couldn't tell you much about her. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So you all know this is the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate from Iowa, Ashley Hinson. Anybody tell me anything about her? What do you guys know about-
I can. She was a news anchor in Eastern Iowa, and then she was in the Iowa House before she went on to the U.S. House, where she is now.
Okay. What else do you guys know about her? That's it. Okay, it's fine. Don't feel badly if you don't know. I'm just asking. I'm trying to see what you know about each of these folks. All right. So I'd like to know whether you think Hinson is a typical Republican or whether she is different in some ways from a typical Republican. By a show of fingers, who would say that she's different from a typical Republican? One of you. Jamie, how so?
I think she stays in contact and tries to hear more from her constituents than a typical congressman does, Republican or Democrat.
Okay, hang on a second. So she's different. I'm not trying to distinguish her in the way she listens to constituents necessarily, on a policy basis, in terms of what she believes. Are her beliefs different from a typical Republican?
Depends on what you call a typical Republican. I think she's a little more moderate than a lot of them.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Cindy's going to put a second photo on the screen. Please don't say anything. By a show of fingers, who could identify this gentleman by name? Got one, Jamie. Jamie, who is it?
Josh Turek.
Okay. Show of fingers. Who says that that name sounds familiar to you? Josh Turek. So for 3 more, his name sounds familiar, but he just didn't, his image wasn't familiar. Okay, so just so you know, this is the Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate from Iowa, Josh Turek. Can anyone tell me anything about him?
I know from a couple of stories that he is pretty adamant against a lot of the Trump agenda. But that's about the only thing that I can think of.
Okay. Anything else? No? Jennifer, you got anything for me? Mackenzie?
I mean, just from other people in Iowa, he's gone around to a lot of small communities to spread his word of his candidacy.
Okay, so he's gotten around the state. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. That's it.
No?
I'd have to agree with you, Jennifer, because he's been here in Rock Rapids, and we've never had a candidate come here.
Yeah.
Okay. Sarah, was it well attended or not?
I would say it was pretty decently attended. Again, we don't have a huge place, and there's only about, 20,000 of us. So I would say for a political thing, yeah, I would say it was pretty well attended.
Okay, got it. So I'd like to know whether you folks think Turek is a typical Democrat or whether he's different in some ways. By a show of fingers, who would say that he's different from a typical Democrat? None of you. Okay. So when we recruited you, it was because you were undecided in this race. Anybody give me a sense as to why you're undecided?
I don't know anything about Turek really yet. I'm undecided because I would like to hear what he has to say before I make my decision.
Okay. Other reasons why you're undecided? Tyra, why are you undecided in this race?
Yeah, in the past I'd be more confident just to perhaps vote for Ashley, but recently I just wanted to think more about who I'm voting for. So
Any other reasons why you're undecided? Different from what Tyler and Jamie said? Mackenzie, reason why you're
I don't feel like I know enough about Turek, and I typically vote Republican, but I know as far as governor, I'm planning to vote Democrat there. I'm planning to vote independent for House, and so I'm kind of reconsidering everything on the ballot this year, I guess.
Okay, we're gonna get to governor in a little bit, so hang on a sec on that one. All right. Cindy's gonna put on screen a third photo now. Please do not say anything. By a show of fingers, who could identify this gentleman by name? Jamie, you think you got it or not?
I know what he's running for. I just can't remember the name.
And I was
Mackenzie,
like,
you do.
I think so.
Who is it?
Is it Zach Lane?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that how he pronounces his last name? Lane, not Lon?
Yeah, I think
I
it's
don't know. I heard it pronounced Lane.
Okay. So you know, this is the Republican nominee for Iowa governor.
Mhm.
Anybody tell me anything about him?
He's spends a lot of time in Kansas and seems like he lives there more than he lives in Iowa.
Okay. Anything else?
I think he barely met the cutoff to move back to Iowa to run. So he's not an Iowan as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Got it. How many of you would say his name sounds familiar to you? Even if you didn't recognize him? Jennifer, Mackenzie, Jamie. Okay, so most of you, he was familiar. I'd like to know whether you think he's a typical Republican or whether he's different in some ways. Show of fingers, who would say he's different? None of you. Okay, so he's going to put on screen a fourth photo right now. Please don't say anything on this one. By a show of fingers, who could identify this gentleman by name? 4 of you. Sarah, does he look at all familiar?
Nope.
No. Okay. Tyler, who is it?
Yeah, it's Rob Sand.
His name sound familiar at all, Sarah? Rob Sand?
Yep.
It does. Okay.
But I don't think I've ever seen a photo of him.
All right. That's all right. So, just so you all know, this is Democratic nominee for Iowa Governor, Rob Sand. Anybody tell me anything about him?
He's
was-
currently the state auditor.
Okay.
I
What else you-
think I saw he was leading some poll recently. Yeah, he's leading a poll. So
Okay. Jennifer?
He's legitimately had a campaign where he's visited probably all 99 counties, or at least made more than an attempt than any other candidate.
Okay. What else do you know about him?
He's probably a more moderate Democrat than not because of his auditor position.
Okay. So I'd like to know whether you think Sand is a typical Democrat or whether he's different in some ways. By a show of fingers, who says he's different from a typical Democrat? Mackenzie, Jamie, and Jennifer, 3 of you. Okay. Mackenzie, how is he different from a typical Democrat?
He seems to be more middle of the road and more willing to work with Republicans.
Okay. Jamie, how about you?
Yeah, he's a more moderate Democrat, and he was big against fraud in his time as auditor.
Okay. Jennifer, how about you? How is he different?
I mean, just the same fiscal responsibility. And I mean, that's what you kind of want in a candidate. So that's unusual to see that history.
Okay. So I'd like to know whether you folks plan to vote for Zach Lane, for Rob Sand, or undecided in the Iowa governor's race. Show of fingers, who says Lane? None of you. How about Sand? 4 of you. Undecided? Tyler's undecided. Okay. Mackenzie, you seem for a Republican to be pretty bullish on Sand. Can you give me a sense as to why at this point?
I really like his bipartisan attitude in his campaign. I like the fact that he's actually getting out there and meeting with Iowans and talking to Iowans, and is an actual Iowan who has been doing a good job, as far as I know, as auditor for as long as he's held the office. Whereas Lane really isn't even coming back to Iowa. In fact, a rumor I've heard is that his neighbor even has a trail cam set up, and I think he hadn't been there in I can't even remember how many weeks, but it was over a month. That there was no activity whatsoever at his residence in Iowa. So
Okay. Got it. Thank you. So next, I want to know how much certain issues will affect how you plan to vote in these midterm elections. So by a show of fingers, who would say the Iran war is a big consideration in how you plan to vote in these midterm elections? So, Jamie, for you.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a consideration. I'm talking about a big consideration. So as you think about these questions. All right. So Jamie, why is it, how is it a big consideration?
Well, I just think that we need to wrap that up and get out of that war. And it's whether, however it turns out, it could bring gas prices and prices of everything down quite a bit. So it's a big consideration considering how it's going to be handled and resolved.
Okay. By a show of fingers, who would say the Israel-Gaza situation is a big consideration in how you plan to vote in these midterm elections? Sarah, how so?
If they're supporting Trump's desire to turn it into a resort, they're not getting my vote.
Okay. Okay. By a show of fingers, who would say the building of data centers is a big consideration in how you plan to vote in these midterm elections? Not a big consideration. Data center building. Okay. Just so I get a sense of this. Show of fingers, how many of you would say that the issue of data centers is a big issue in your community or in your county? In yours, Mackenzie, and yours, Jennifer, but then it's not a big issue for you personally.
No, not for
No.
me personally.
Okay, got it. By a show of fingers, who would say the state of the economy is a big consideration in how you plan to vote in this year's midterm elections? State of the economy. All 5 of you. Jennifer, how so?
I mean, yeah, I'm making money in the stock market and that form of economy, but not everybody else is doing good. And so that's a big factor if we're not considering uh, what we've done with gas, what we've done across the board with food and those promises. We have not kept them, or at least even fulfilled them.
Okay. Tyler, how about you? How is that going to affect your vote this November? Why is it a big consideration?
Yeah, I would be more inclined to support someone who is talking about affordability for younger Americans, for people trying to start careers and just get started. So that would be important for me if someone was supporting that and talking about that.
Okay, got it. Anybody else have a different reason why the economy is a big consideration, different from what Jennifer and Tyler said? Take that as a no. Okay. By a show of fingers, who would say that immigration is a big consideration in how you plan to vote in these midterm elections? Jennifer, I got 1. Why, Jennifer? Or how so?
Uh, Currently, the policies are atrocious. I mean, there's people that are being killed. Um, Also, I mean, a lot of times within like immigration and the policies, the people come right back anyway. So this is just a colossal waste of money, and there's better resources that could be allocated to better things in America.
Okay. By a show of fingers, who would say tariffs are a big consideration in how you plan to vote in these midterm elections? It's Sarah, Jamie, 2 of you. Sarah, how so?
If they support the tariffs, then I feel like they really don't care about us as Iowans because it is definitely affecting us. In the middle of the country, we import a ton of our stuff from other places. And like I said, I live in a very small town and our grocery prices are too high here.
Okay. Jamie, how is that a big consideration? Tariffs.
Just I wouldn't vote for somebody that supports them. I think tariffs are just causing prices to go up on a whole bunch of different things, and I don't really see what the benefit has been.
Okay. By a show of fingers, who would say there's some other issue other than the ones I just asked you about that is a big consideration in how you plan to vote? Tyler's got one for me, and so does Jamie, and so does Sarah. Good. Tyra, what is it?
Yeah, I view just the political polarization in our country as a big problem. So I would be I would be much more supportive of someone who is willing to reach across the aisle, have dialogue, and try and heal some of the damage that the polarization has caused in our country. So
Okay, thank you. Sarah, what's the issue for you?
How would they vote on the Save America Act?
Okay. Which you said that you're against, so. Okay,
Yeah, I don't want to lose my right to vote.
all right. Just explain to me so I understand it. Why would you lose your right to vote under the Save America Act?
If I moved to another county, in order for me to register to vote, I would need to be able to prove my American citizenship with 2 different forms of ID. But I can't because my birth certificate is in my maiden name, not my married name.
Okay,
So I would only have my social security card in my married name, and that would be it. You have to prove that your birth certificate has the same name as your social security card.
got it. Thank you. All right. Jamie, what's the issue that I didn't mention?
I like foreign policy, people who are supporting us being in foreign wars, people who support want to give so much more support to Israel, and also for checks and balances, people who want to support checks and balances on presidential power.
Okay, got it. So I asked before whether Iran was a major consideration. You didn't say yes, correct? Oh, I think
No, I did say yes.
you did. Sorry, my apologies. You were the one
Yeah.
who did say yes. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. But this is beyond Iran, right? This is
Yeah,
about,
yeah, it's foreign policy in general,
okay,
but that's a big part of it.
all right. By a show of fingers, who in this group intends to vote by mail in this election? Anybody? Tyler and Mackenzie. By a show of fingers, who is concerned that in Iowa your vote will not be counted properly? Anyone concerned about that? Your vote will not be counted properly? None of you have that concern. What is your reaction when President Trump claims the 2020 election was stolen? How do you guys react when he claims it's stolen? Anybody?
Or loser.
I believe that. I think that there's a lot of really suspicious and questionable things, at least, that I think that whether or not he won, I do think that there were probably some votes that were perhaps manufactured.
Okay. Who's with Mackenzie that you have some doubts about the integrity of the 2020 election? Anybody with Mackenzie on that? Tyler, you also. Okay. Jennifer, what's your reaction when you hear President Trump say the 2020 election was stolen?
I don't believe it.
Why not?
I mean, it's an election. It was won, and I mean, he won, like, this recent election for himself. So either we believe in our election system or we don't. We can't flip-flop just because we win.
Okay.
2020 was rigged, then obviously 2024 was rigged too.
All of it's rigged. Yeah.
He's just a
Got it.
sore loser. He can't admit when he loses. He's never admitted losing anything.
Tyler, go ahead.
yeah, well, I do think there are some things that were maybe a little suspicious to me. I don't necessarily support that line of just dialogue. I don't think it's beneficial to our country for people to be talking like that. It just damages the social trust and bonds that we have. So
Okay. By a show of fingers, are any of you paying attention to midterm elections in other states? Sarah's got one for me. What is it, Sarah? Which state? I'm dying of curiosity. Which state is it?
I've kind of just watched like the big states like Texas, California, the states that seem to be at war with, like, even Illinois, who's at war with Trump and who is supporting Trump, and seeing where is that stuff kind of falling. I wouldn't say that I'm spending a ton of time watching it, but it is on uh like a, if they're like a notification as they're coming in, I get a little notification,
Okay.
because I am curious who's swinging, because even Democrats, yeah, they're likely gonna win, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's all a good thing either, you know?
Okay. I'm just curious before I let you go. Have any of you heard any news in the last few days about a senator from Georgia named Ossoff who's been attacking President Trump? Have you heard that news?
I've seen him on some stuff, but I haven't heard any news.
Nothing in the last few days. No.
No.
Okay. That's great.